Hello all, this is Dr. Dave Maslach talking to you about reciprocity.com. The E is written with a 3, and in this particular video I actually want to talk to you about writing and proofreading software and dealing with learning disabilities with whenever you're writing. So if you don't know, I'm actually a professor of innovation strategy and entrepreneurship. And I created this software platform called reciprocity.com. The E is written with a 3, sort of a sharing economy proofreading platform, and it's really geared towards people in graduate students or maybe undergraduate students that are looking to get some help with their writing. And the idea is that you sort of share credits, or everything is absolutely free as long as you're helping out other people. If you want to take money out of the system, then the system it charges you some money for it, or charges you a percentage of whatever you take out of the system. So the reason why I actually wanted to deal with this, or I actually wanted to create something like this, I mean, there's lots of different reasons, but this was sort of a major one. After dealing with this my whole life, I've sort of struggled with writing and being in academia. If recently, so my whole life, when I started out, I was in my undergrad, or when I was in kindergarten and all the way through about grade 5 or grade 6. I actually was in special education, and I really struggled with things. My parents didn't really know what was going on. My teachers didn't know what was going on. And then recently, I went and got myself checked. I'm 38 years old now after watching some YouTube videos about this. And it turns out that I actually score pretty high for ADHD. Um, so I'm not hyperactive or anything like that, but I just have a really hard time with sort of focusing on things, or not being distracted by noises and information that's around me. And I was sort of thinking about this particular software in terms of why it's actually, it resonates with me all the much more with people that actually have, other learning disabilities like dyslexia and things like that. Because the way that I normally write, or what happens when I write, it's like much like when I'm in a conversation. I don't like big crowds or anything like that because of this. And I realized that was one of the biggest things I realized, is that's really hard for me to pay attention to things in a large crowd, right? Because there's all this information that's coming towards me. But in general, when I'm writing, I'll write a few words. I'll have the sentence, I'll think of the sentence of what I want to say. I'll write a few words, and then about 3 or 4 words in, I'll forget what I was writing about. So I have very low short-term memory, my short-term memory is shot. Or, I will forget how to spell a word, and then I'll get distracted and try to figure out how to spell a word. And it's been like that my whole life. So how did I actually overcome this? There's sort of different techniques, and I know that there's medication and stuff like that, but, given my age, I've decided not to do that. However, actually having sort of software or something like this would actually be very helpful, I find. And actually, that was the big reason why I was doing it, is because, my mom helped me out a lot when I was growing up in terms of with my own writing, and I realized that there's not everybody has a mom, right, around the world. And so I thought that this was actually a really good idea to develop something like that. So with my own sort of, dealing with these particular issues, and it's not a crutch or anything like that. I'm not sort of mentioning that, but, what I've had to do to become a professor, and I've been publishing and things like that. What I have to do is actually find the quietest possible area, in terms of just finding an area that's really quiet so I don't get distracted as much. And the quieter the better. And I'll use earplugs and things like that. And then the other thing that I end up doing when dealing with these particular issues, right, is just having as much sort of free flow sort of writing as I possibly can, and not worrying about what I write and things like that. And that usually helps a little bit more. And then after, I kind of go through and edit that kind of stuff up, right? And then the last one, and I guess this is the sort of kind of medication, right, is just having some sort of stimulant like coffee. without doing anything like that, it's really hard to actually get any particular work done because I just feel so distracted and scattered all the time. But, what I wanted to sort of mention with sort of the current error correction or proofreading software that's available, it doesn't really account for anything like that very well. The reason why is because it is looking for sort of normal mistakes that a lot of people make. It doesn't look at like things like fluid, right? So how things are actually written. And for me, that's the biggest thing that I deal with. It's just, how am I actually writing something down? Does it actually make a lot of sense? Because I'll end up writing a few words, forget what I'm writing, and then I have to rewrite that particular sentence, and then I'll do that over again, and then I can't remember what I wrote from the last paragraph. So things kind of seem choppy, and I've learned with just practice and working hard to get better at that sort of choppiness, right? So, but I know that people are learning this kind of thing, and so having some sort of software that gives you this feedback and allows you to get this feedback, I think is actually pretty helpful for other people that are out there like me, particularly, if they're in graduate school. It's really tough to get any sort of feedback that's geared largely at this moment towards, graduate students, people that are doing a PhD or something like that. But then, undergraduate students might find this useful as well. So that's all I really wanted to talk about with dealing with sort of learning disabilities and creating, and going forward, that's honestly a thing that I'm going to build into it, is try to make it as sort of conducive to people that, just struggle with this kind of stuff. So try to make it as sort of friendly as possible for other people that are struggling with these kind of issues, and make it sort of geared towards, helping people write in a much more effective manner without sort of relying on, just helping them sort of get better at writing, to improve their writing, right? So that's an important thing. So that's all I wanted to talk about with this video. I know that for me, this is a really big sort of video to talk about because it is something that I do struggle with on a regular basis, and it's really quite personal. So that's all I wanted to talk about. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and if there's other people that have solutions, and if you've tried other different things, maybe you are a writer for you're a full-time writer or you're a graduate student, please put some comments down, help other people out how you deal with these particular issues. Because I know I'm not the only one, particularly, it's very common to actually see this kind of stuff, particularly people going into academia or, going into, and people from all walks of life have this kind of stuff, right? So I'm just kind of being open about this. So, if you have suggestions on how to deal with this, it would be really great if you could actually leave some comments to let other people, just to give them some help with how to actually deal with these particular issues as well when they are writing. Because I don't think there's a lot that's actually out there. So that's all I want to say. Take care. If you like this video, please do give me a thumbs up and do subscribe to the YouTube channel. All right, take care. Have a wonderful day. Bye.